So when I qualified at the school, I got a letter from the physiotherapy from the hospital, Wellington Hospital, saying that I had to start there on January the 5th or 6th or something like this. And at the same time I got a letter from the army saying you've got to resume your postponed military training, and you were to report at the railway station in Wellington on such and such a day at such and such a time, where you will get on the train to Linton Military Camp, where we did our basic training. So we had 4 weeks of basic training, and then they decided, examining our educational qualifications and or occupational qualifications, they would allocate us to various military units. Guys who are doing engineering would probably go into the engineers, and the guy who was a labourer would probably go into the ranks. A physiotherapist went into the medical corps. So after 4 weeks of basic training, I was sent to Waiouru Camp, where the Royal New Zealand Medical Corps was stationed. We completed our military training there, and after 14 weeks we completed our military training. And then just before we marched out, I got a call to see the CO, and he said, we'd like you to attend an officer's training course. And I said, I'm supposed to be in Wellington this next week to start work at the hospital. I'd strongly advise you to accept our offer. He said, we'd like you to go through an officer's training course. How long will that be? It's about a month, he said. Just short of a month. So I sent a telegram off to, in those days we had telegrams, you know, they'd stick bits of paper on there's little strips of paper. It's typed out and they stick it on paper. Mr. McKenzie will not be back until such and such a time, as he is required to do an officer's training course. You know, Miss Andrews, unbeknown to me, she flew off the handle, and she was the charge physiotherapist at Wellington Hospital. She hit the roof and raised cane, but there's nothing she could do about it. I did the officer's training course, and I passed that, and then from then on we used to do military training. We used to go back into camp for 2 weeks every year. And they were enormous fun. I mean, we had some hilarious moments in the army on these 2-week stints, because they were all amateurs, amateur soldiers playing at being doctors in the army and physios in the army. It was very amusing at times. We used to play jokes on each other. There was another physio there, and we had 4-man huts. And this physio was a very sincere and very gentle and very honest fellow, but he was very gullible. He would believe anything you told him. And I had, by the side of my bed was the main switch for the power supply to the hut. And I was leaning back in my bunk one day while he was shaving. I was leaning back in my bunk, he was shaving, and he took the light bulb out of the socket, put his shaver in, and while he was doing this, I tripped the switch accidentally. And he said, there's something wrong with my switch, and I knew what had happened. So I flicked it on again while he was holding the plug up into the light, and I turned it on again. Oh, this is a faulty connection. He took his hand away and let him shave for a few more minutes. Then I tripped the switch again. Oh, I said, that's a neat. We did this for a week. Poor John, it'd take him a quarter of an hour to shave. And one morning he caught me turning the switch. He says, you haven't been doing that for the last week, have you? Unfortunately, John, I have to admit, yes. We also played another joke on him. One of our other guys in the hut was a physician called Moore Tweed. And Moore Tweed, just out of the blue one day in front of John and several others, "John, what are you doing for the concert tonight?" "What concert?" says John. "Well, the CO has asked all officers to be prepared to put on an item at the concert tonight." He says, "What are you doing, Moore?" And he says, "I'm going to do my famous imitation of bird noises." "What are you going to do, John?" Well, he said, "I didn't know anything about it." He said, "Well, you better get cracking, you better find something." So John, innocent John, went along to the CO and said to him, "Sir, I haven't prepared anything for the concert tonight." "What concert?" says the CO. "I didn't know there was a concert." He says, "Who's organised this?" He says, "Well, they told me that we all had to have an item for the concert tonight." "Nonsense, Moore. Get about your business."